Hello, this is Dr. David Bilstrom from the International Autoimmune Institute and the Autoimmune Lifestyle, coming to you from Madison, Wisconsin. Our series this time, I believe this is our third series from Madison, Wisconsin and the University of Wisconsin. This series is about the brain and how all the brainy stuff that people have when they come in to see us gets better as you fix the big picture. You fix the gut, you're fixing the immune system, you're doing all this. So on our intake form, we ask a lot of questions about the brain, because the brain is always involved when the body has issues, right? So we've mentioned before, the brain sits up there and says, hey body, don't drag me into your mess. The body always drags the brain into the mess. So everybody that comes in with chronic health issues, kid, adult, they got concentration issues, they got memory issues, they're more anxious than they probably should be, they got mood issues, they're more irritable than they should be. Even like the brain stuff like PMS, premenstrual syndrome, all that kind of stuff. You know, they got panic attacks, any brain stuff you can imagine, including, you know, migraines, stuff like that. We say, hey, we fixed the gut, we fixed the body, you're going to fix these brain things, right? Now, how tied it is the brain to the gut? Well, some people say the brain's the second gut. Some people say the gut's the second brain. Well, for every one nerve that connects the brain to the gut, there's 1,000 nerves that connects the gut to the brain. So I would tend to think the brain is in charge, right? So one way or the other, the central nervous system, the brain, the spinal cord, has a ton of nerves, right? The second most nerves in the body, and it's a close second, is what they call the enteric nervous system, the nervous system of the gut. Now, it's the enteric nervous system of the gut, along with the intestinal microbiome, the mix of good, bad bugs in the gut, and the immune system, 80% of which surrounds the gut. Those three things actually drive brain development when a child is in utero during pregnancy, and the first bunch of years after they're born, our brain and spinal cord matures because of the intestinal microbiome, the enteric nervous system, and the immune system telling it how to do that. Our brain developed because of that kind of stuff. So here's this amazing article, Human Microbiome Journal, 2020. Oh, we got some birds giving us their 2 cents too. And it's called The Gut Microbiome Composition and Diversity Are Related to Human Personality Traits. So not just anxiety, depression, autism spectrum disorder, developmental delays, but the microbiome determines our personality traits. I mean, how cool is that? Now, I usually like to summarize these articles, but I gotta tell you, this one here has got so much cool stuff. I wanna quote some things. I don't usually do that, but I'm gonna quote. But I'm gonna do some other talks about this, because this article is amazing. So let me give you a couple of quotes here, okay? Personality shapes our world. It influences our health, our friendships, how we deal with stress, what jobs we succeed in, and how we like to spend our time. Yeah, okay, but a burgeoning field of the microbiome is revealing the many ways that our environment within, the mix of good and bad bugs, can affect our body's physiology, including our digestion, immunity, metabolism, development, and even our behavior. Studies in the past describe evidence that the gut microbiome interacts with the central nervous system, and such findings have the potential to aid in the development of new treatments for conditions such as autism and depression. Cool stuff. Fix the gut, fix autism and depression. Okay, how about this one? Excuse me. Findings stem from the fecal microbiome transplantation, where behavioral traits can be transferred. So they took one set of mice that tend to be very timid and quiet, and another set of mice that tend to be very outgoing and social. They took the microbiome from the outgoing ones, gave them to the timid ones. The timid mice became outgoing and more social. They give the reverse. They give the good bad mix from the timid ones to the outgoing mice. They became timid and all this. Wow. Okay, but how about this one? They gave timid mice, reserved mice, the microbiome of humans that are outgoing and social. The timid mice became outgoing and social as well. Oh my gosh. So they talk about how potentially fecal transplantation, taking good bad mix of the bugs in a gut of somebody with personality traits that are more outgoing and social and healthy, potentially giving them to people that are depressed and anxious and panic attacks and schizophrenia, and helping change their personality traits to more outgoing and social. Now, if you remember, this kind of sounds a little bit like, I think, a video I did before, where people come in, oftentimes they're carrying extra weight when we see them, right? Their metabolism slowed down, they're obese or morbidly obese, so they want to lose the weight. We talk about how the mix of the good and bad bugs in the gut determine weight. So I always tell patients this great study in mice where they took mice that they bred to have no bugs in their gut, good or bad. They took half of the mice, they gave them the good bad mix of the bugs in the guts from thin people. The other half of the mice, they gave the good bad mix from people that were heavy. They fed the mice all the same food. The mice that had the good bad mix from the thin people stayed thin. The mice that had the good bad mix from the heavy people got obese, even though they're feeding them the same food. Oh, they said, it's not what you eat, it's what you do with it. So in that situation, let's say you eat food. Well, you want all the nutrients, you want all the proteins, all the fatty acids, the good ones. You don't need the calories, right? You need some calories, but not a lot. So let's say you eat 100 calories. Well, you want all the nutrients, you want all the proteins, you don't need all the calories. If you have a healthy microbiome, you may harvest 40 of those calories out of 100 into your body. You have a disrupted microbiome, you're not getting the nutrients, you're not getting the proteins, which kind of stinks anyway, but you might harvest 90 of those calories. You go, oh my gosh, no wonder. I don't hardly eat anything, I can't lose weight, because that disrupted microbiome is not getting you the nutrients you need, and you're harvesting all these calories that you don't need also. The intestinal microbiome, super important. We're going to talk more about this article because it is a fascinating article. I'm probably going to quote it some more, but just know that, let's say you meet somebody and you walk away from them and you go, oh my gosh, that person needs a new personality. What you really should say is, wow, that person needs a new intestinal microbiome. They are a mess. Coming to you from Madison, Wisconsin. Have a nice day.